Good morning, everyone. What an amazing first day we had yesterday, right? Did y'all have a good time? And we're looking forward to today and Friday and Saturday. We have many more amazing workshops and keynote speakers. And we're very excited about continuing with our theme of connecting our communities through our languages, our cultures, and our stories. And as I participated yesterday in some of the events at the Parent Institute and speaking to some of you and hearing, attending the Mini Corps 50th anniversary celebration and hearing the keynote speakers, I had some things I wanted to share with you about our theme. I wanted to talk to you and have you get to know me a little more as I'm going to be becoming your new president soon. I wanted to share with you that my first Mini Corps conference was back in the 80s, and I came here because the California Mini Corps program sent me here as a college student. And when I first came to this conference, I was so amazed to see so many educators like all of you, and I was so inspired, and I felt so hopeful that, yes, I too could become a bilingual teacher. And so know that those of you who are here, there are students who are watching you, parents in your community who are watching you, and your role models. And sometimes we take that for granted, the impact that we have of just being who we are. And every day when you're walking to the parking lot, you have your Starbucks coffee or whatever you're doing, your kids are watching you, the parents are watching you, the community is watching and counting on you. They're counting on us. And so I just wanted to share that with you, that when I came here to that first Mini Corps conference, I was so inspired, and after that, there was no stop. I had to come every year to get my fill, get my shot of energy, and I'm sure that's why many of you are here today. The other thing that inspired me through CABE was that it was okay to speak Spanish, and that it was actually a benefit to be bilingual. And so that inspired me more to make sure that my students were able to feel that, to be proud of their languages and to embrace languages. I started teaching during the time of Proposition 227, horrible time. And for those young teachers who are here, it's important to remember the stories of the past. The past that have been created for you. During 227, it was a very scary time, and we didn't think 227 was going to pass. Just like we didn't think Donald Trump was going to win. It's kind of like the same kind of a thing. But it happened. It happened, and we had to even be stronger in making sure that our kids still felt valued, and that we tried to maintain bilingual programs, and any bilingual program that we had, that we made sure that we were more deliberate, that we were making sure that there were more quality programs. And because of the work that was done between then and now, we have proven that bilingual education does work, and that is why Proposition 58 passed. And that is the story that we cannot forget. So I encourage you to continue. You create your own stories. Remember the past stories of how we got here, but create your own stories. We're here now to learn, to get ready for the next wave of bilingual education. And it's our opportunity to make it stronger than ever so that 227 folks will never come back to try to attack bilingual education. The power is in us to look at our history, honor our history, recognize the influence that we have, because you do every day in your schools and in your communities, and making those stories and making them real every day in the lives of every student that we serve. Thank you so much.
And now, let's welcome, from the California Superintendents Educational Services Association, CABE 2017 Honorary Chair, Sarah Anderberg.
Good morning. Well, on behalf of the 58 County Superintendents, it's my honor to welcome you this morning. What a wonderful conference. And I would like to acknowledge all the work of the CABE staff, the board, the partners, the presenters, the students, everyone who's contributed to make this such a wonderful event. We applaud CABE's commitment to excellence in equity, bilingualism, and biliteracy through all of its programs. Professional development, advocacy that advances the value of native language and respect for cultural and linguistic diversity. I love the theme this year, connecting communities through our languages, cultures, and stories. And in representing the State Arts Initiative, I can think of no better way to cultivate our languages, cultures, and stories than in and through the arts. In the most recent CABE publication, A Multilingual Educator, you'll see an article that features declarations of student rights that we hope you will review. These were developed by the Create California Equity Committee and really provide a roadmap for how we can address the needs of all of our students in this state. Take a look. What is so inspirational to me as I look out at this wonderful group and gathering this morning is to recognize the impact that we all have on those 6.5 million students in our state. Thank you for everything that you do, and have a wonderful conference. God bless you.
Our next honorary chair is from the Westminster School District, Assistant Superintendent Cyndi Paik.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank CABE for inviting Westminster School District to be a part of the planning committee this year. It's been an honor and a pleasure to be a part of the back behind the scenes that takes place in putting together this wonderful conference. Westminster School District, just so that for those of you who are not aware of our district, is located in Orange County and serves 9,500 elementary and middle school students in 17 schools throughout the communities of Garden Grove, Westminster, Huntington Beach, and Midway City. Our unduplicated count of students are identified as English learners, socially economically disadvantaged students, and foster youth students is 77%. And the student population is approximately 40% Asians, 40% Hispanics, and 20% mixture of other ethnicities. Our district's vision and mission statement is that we are building tomorrow's leaders today. And we are committed to preparing all students to be responsible, resilient, resourceful, and productive world citizens in a changing and diverse society. I am so proud to share that Westminster School District offers a variety of programs in bringing equity, access, and opportunities to every student in our district. First, we have implemented the very first Vietnamese dual language immersion program in California, and our principal sitting right here in the audience. Also, we now offer a Spanish dual language program to preschool students and kindergarten students, and the principal is also here in the audience. And our students will be offered these dual language programs, which will build pathways to biliteracy. And we have also launched a GATE Academy in addition to our STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math magnet school. In our efforts to prepare our students for the 21st century economy, we also offer one-to-one Chromebooks for students, digital badging, and our I4 program, which stands for Inspire, Innovate, Impact, Implement, which has been awarded the Golden Bell Award by the California School Board Association. This is a program where teachers are trained to integrate the use of technology and various blended learning programs in their daily lessons, and we have been increasing our STEM efforts by offering robotics and advanced robotics to our 8th grade students. Also, we are starting to develop the very first in Orange County computer science magnet school where every student will be taught critical thinking skills and coding skills to fulfill computer science-related jobs that are very hard to fill. Due to these various programs and services we offer our students, we have been honored as 2015 White House Initiative on Educational Excellence for Hispanic, Bright Spot in Hispanic Education, and was named the 2016 District of Distinction by District Administration Magazine for establishing the very first Vietnamese Dual-Immersion Academy in California. And all of this couldn't have been possible without the hard work of our staff, and we have our 2 executive directors here as well, and the leadership of our superintendent, Dr. Kim Phelps. And if you are excited about learning more about our programs, please go to our website to find more additional information. Thank you.
And now, let's welcome to the stage CABE CEO Jan Correa.
Good morning, buenos dias. It is such an honor and a true pleasure for me to introduce our next guest and partner, close partner, David Goldberg from the executive team of the California Teacher Association, CTA. All right, how many CTA members are out there? A lot, exactly. So that's what it's all about, coming together and supporting our teachers. You know, CTA has historically been a very close partner of CABE for years and years. But most recently, we have felt their amazing support and vision and connection to the needs of our students with our recent election. We've talked about Prop 58 and just the excitement of that passing. We also had another very important proposition, Proposition 50, exactly. And it was really the leadership of CTA, by the human force, by resources, that really made the difference in the election for us this year, for both Prop 58 and Prop 50. So David, on behalf of the CABE Board of Directors, on our full CABE team and membership, a huge thank you for your commitment and dedication to all students, and particularly our English learner students and biliteracy students. Welcome to CABE. Thank you for your partnership.
Buenos días y gracias por la oportunidad. Les agradezco por la oportunidad de darles la perspectiva del sindicato de CTA sobre nuestra lucha para defender nuestros estudiantes. I'm David Goldberg. I'm the Secretary Treasurer. I'm a Los Angeles Unified, Product Valley Unified School District as a student. And I'm also a bilingual education teacher out of Northeast LA, out of Murchison Elementary School. And I also started teaching around the time of Prop 227. And I remember how devastating that was for those of us who had committed ourselves to not just education, but really defending the human rights of our students and their right to their own language. And what that meant to overnight, to come back to our students the next day, in that June day, and really explain to them that the world had changed. And that was devastating, and it was a hard, and to be honest with you, a lot of us educators, we scrambled. We didn't know what to do for a little time. But I also remember at Murchison Elementary School when we actually decided to organize and actually bring back our bilingual programs. And what a powerful experience that was for us to connect with our teachers first, but also with our community, and how over the next years, how that really kept us connected to each other and our students. And I say that because we're all celebrating right now the Prop 58 and Prop 55. And what a beautiful time that for those of us, as Elodia was speaking at the beginning, for those of us who went through Prop 227, to have 74% of Californians vote to support bilingual education and dual language programs is amazing. And that's a beautiful opening. But I'm also clear, and all of us are also clear, that the attacks on our students have never been more intense, right? We have students right now that are just afraid like they've never been. My wife is a psychiatric social worker at LA Unified and Marshall High School, and she has kids every day coming up to her just devastated trying to make sense of this world they now live in, just the fear that's just gripping them. And so our students are looking to us like never before. And we have to see the fight around bilingual education, around dual language programs, as part of that same struggle of defending our students and pushing back on these attacks. And I think that's something all of us need to think every time we come to a conference like this. As exciting as it is and as beautiful as it is experience, I think it's no longer, we can't just come to these conferences alone and go back alone. We have to have responsibility to think about how we go to where our power is at our school sites and how we start to engage our members and the community around this fight around bilingual education and a broader struggle to protect our students. And I say this because I want to inoculate us, because it's not only our students that are under attack, but our union, we as workers are also under attack. And the fact that we were able to get Prop 58 and Prop 55 passed, which said we got to fund our education for poor kids, for immigrant kids, other folks take notice of that, right? And the folks who are going to come after us in the next 18 months, there's going to be a Supreme Court decision that's going to really try and have a fatal blow to unions. And it's really going to be up to us to really stand up like never before and connect with each other, where our power is at our school sites, about different strategies for how we become the union. Union doesn't come a union leader, but it becomes alive at our school sites. And it becomes alive around fighting around our own rights and around connecting our struggle to those of our students. So I want to give you two concrete things we can do. First of all, on May 1st, we were asking for people to organize stuff at school sites. Work with and we have stuff on our website, cta.org/forallstudents, which has some handouts and also some supportive stuff that actually gives you more information. But we're saying that on May 1st, what we want to start doing, that's the Day of the Workers historically, but more recently it's the Day of Immigrants. That as many school sites as we can across this state, we want to have actions that say that we stand for you, our students. We're here to support you. We're here to be with you in this struggle. We're allies of yours. Because our students can't come to school and learn and be in any language if they're fearful. And so the first thing we need to do is start doing that. The second thing is, I see Veronica Miranda Pinckney here. We have now a committee in CTA who's working on how we actually start to roll out Prop 58 and how we do it in a way that's not just around the guidelines, but also bottom-up organizing around in school sites. So if can you raise your hand, Veronica? She's right here. She's our liaison for CTA around that. If you see her this weekend, she's another person to talk to. And lastly, I have one request. That we no longer go back and say, what's the union going to do, right? That all of us realize that we are the union, and that this is all our struggle, and that we are the ones that we've been waiting for, and the path ahead is clear, and it involves all of us and our students moving forward together. So thank you very much for the time to speak with you, and I look forward to connecting in the future. Thank you.
Now join us as we invite to the stage CEO of Californians Together, Shelley Spiegel-Coleman, and CABE Director of Legislative Affairs, Karen Cadero-Kaplan.
Good morning. All right. Well, here we are. Hello, CABE. And everybody said it, and I'm going to say it again. We made history in November when we passed Proposition 58. Woo! So we want to thank you and everyone in this room for contacting your families, your friends, making donations, making phone calls. All of us made it happen. California changed from an English-only policy to one of encouraging multiple languages for all of our students. But our work has just begun. And each of us, once again, needs to have our voices heard. Across California, we're hearing about districts and schools that are talking about expanding or beginning new dual immersion and bilingual programs. But we know there's a significant shortage of bilingual teachers. And CABE and Californians Together have a resolve that we're going to champion that issue, and we're going to increase the pipeline of bilingual teachers. And at this conference, you all are going to help us. So in your bags, many of you may have noticed, oh, I already had someone hold up a card. In your bags, there's a yellow postcard. You can all ignore me and find your card right now. We all want you to pull out the card. And we want you to sign it. We'll be collecting the postcards when you leave the session today, when the general session is over. This will show your support for AB 952, authored by Assemblymember Reyes, and it will create the Bilingual Professional Development Program. This will encourage all of our bilingual teachers who are teaching now in English-only classrooms and native English speakers of other languages who didn't get their bilingual authorization to come to a consortium and get training on the new pedagogy, the updated knowledge that we have, to be prepared to return to our bilingual classrooms that every district will be opening across this state. We need your signature on this card. It will go to the Chair of Assembly Education. The bill is going to be heard next week, and we will personally deliver thousands of cards to that committee. Sign it today. Lastly, in addition, the state needs to know exactly how many bilingual teachers are in English-only classrooms who might be available to come to our bilingual program, and how many speakers of native languages have not received their bilingual authorization. We are so excited. You just heard from the Executive Board Officer, David Goldberg, from the California Teachers Association. We are thrilled that we are partnering with CTA and the California Federation of Teachers. They both sent out a survey to all of their members. How many of you received notice of those surveys? You all should have received notice. Anyways, look at your email. But anyways, together and on the CTA's website, it's front and center. We are doing a survey, all teachers, everybody who's a teacher at this conference. We want you to complete the survey. On the screen, you should see the two URLs, one for the CFT survey if you're a CFT member, one for the CTA survey if you're a CTA member. We want you all to complete, it'll take you no more than 6 or 7 minutes. We want you to complete that survey. We're going to aggregate the data, and that data will be taken to the legislative committees, to the governor, to the State Board of Ed, saying we need support for more bilingual teachers. So please, sign your cards today, complete the survey before you leave CABE, and we'll see new and expanded opportunities for all of us. Bye-bye.
Every year, the CABE Board honors exemplary parents and educators. And here to present the first award is CABE CEO, Karling Aguilera-Fort.
Buenos días. Buenos días. Good morning, CABE. Good morning, CABE. Now that is the CABE family. What a wonderful day again. Yesterday we had a very exciting opening. And today, the excitement, the learning continues. And everything that we do here on behalf of our students, we know that we'll go back to the district with each one of you. Thank you. I am very honored to share that today, the 2017 CABE Social Justice Community Award is going to be given to a very special person, Dr. María Quezada. And I know that most of you know María Quezada. Throughout her career as a teacher, administrator, university professor, past president of CABE, and chief executive officer of CABE, she has advocated for bilingual education, biliteracy, quality parent engagement, bilingual teacher and administrator preparation, and most importantly, for equity and social justice in the public education for all of our students. Her leadership is noteworthy. In the face of adversity, she stood up for children's families and rights. In the face of resistance, she did not run, but provided courage by her actions. In the face of dealing with budget shortages, she led with dignity and a steady state. And in the face of resistance, she never gave up and found ways to work with critics. Under her tenure as a CABE president and later as a CABE CEO, when Proposition 187 and Proposition 227 raised their ugly heads, Maria did not retreat. In November 2016, Dr. Quezada celebrated with colleagues and with all of us the passage of Prop 58. That proposition rescinded many of the negative aspects of Proposition 227, and finally Maria saw her vision realized. All students and families in California now have the choice of participating in multilingual programs. Thank you, Maria, for that vision. Thank you for working so hard for that. Maria is also a researcher. Her research and programmatic knowledge superheated CABE Project to Inspire, a nationally acclaimed parent engagement program, and today, Project to Inspire is serving many districts across the state of California. Her dedication, commitment, and life work are a testimony of her perseverance, tenacity, and heartfelt commitment to providing an equitable alternative for bilingual populations in the state of California and even in the nation. On behalf of the CABE Board of Directors, I am proud to present the Social Justice Community Award 2017 to my maestra, to my amiga, my friend, and the friend of all of us, Dr. María Quezada.
Buenos dias. You know, after being in this podium for 12 years, you'd think I wouldn't be frightened, but I'm feeling a little nervous, but I'm okay. I think, you know, our work these past few years are based on what the work that we're doing now in family engagement. And one of those is providing those opportunity conditions. Those opportunity conditions that have helped me as an individual in leaping to the opportunity to become a bilingual teacher, leaping to the opportunity to be a director of a center, an opportunity for me to lead this marvelous organization, and now providing those opportunities for our parents. You know, we want them to know their power. We want them to be part of your schools and an integral part of your schools. And in our research, you know, we were granted an I3 research grant. And we were very proud of that fact, that we were the only nonprofit that had a perk before that got one of these prestigious grants. And so we're wrapping up 5 years of investigating what are those factors that help families become engaged in schools, and we're seeing some very powerful work, and it's very gratifying. Any thanks that were ever given to me before, I can tell you, watching parents stand up and present to other parents, or stand up and know what their rights are, and they know about schools, and they know that they are powerful forces in the education of their children. So, our program, I'm going to take the words of Dr. David Ramírez, who is a really great colleague of mine, and say that we have created a sense of self. They know who they are. They know that they have the power to lead their families and make better lives for themselves. A sense of place, they belong in our schools. And a sense of direction of who and how to negotiate the system for their students, for their kids. And of course, a sense of possibilities. And so we offer those possibilities. We offer those tremendous opportunities, just like I have been fortunate to have. And I thank the board and all of you for always coming to our conferences and giving us that energy to continue on. Thank you.
And to share the next award, please welcome back Jan Correa.
And I was just handed this book, You're More Powerful Than You Think. So all of us are more powerful than we think.
So I have the honor of introducing our next guest and awardees, and I'm going to ask them if they would come out on stage with me right now. They'll come out in just a second. In the alignment of our theme for CABE 2017, connecting communities through our language, cultures, and stories, I'd like to just share a little story with you from history. Once upon a time, in the mid-1940s, a ways back, Gonzalo and Felicitas Méndez moved to Westminster here in Orange County to lease a farm from the Benavides family who had been forced into a Japanese internment camp during World War II. The Méndez children, along with the children, you're seeing some of them come on stage with me right now, of the Estrada, Guzmán, Palomino, and Ramírez families needed to enroll in a new school. They were told that since they were going to attend the Westminster School District, they needed to go to the Mexican schools. This type of segregation was practiced at that time throughout California, but these families were not like the families of hundreds of others who had previously been turned away from the school door. These 5 families and a handful of other brave families in neighboring districts had the courage to band together to fight the unjust system and lay the legal foundation for the desegregation of public schools, not just in Orange County and in Westminster, but in the entire United States. This was before Brown versus Board of Education. Yes, un aplauso. When the families, and we think often of the case as Méndez versus Westminster, and it's Méndez et al. And that's where we bring in our family names of Estrada, Guzmán, Ramírez, Palomino, and I'm missing one. Looking at my notes here. Sorry about that. Méndez, thank you. You got it, thank you. The Méndez family, exactly. So when these amazing families won their federal case at the trial court level, the school district appealed the case to the Ninth Circuit. It was a groundbreaking case, and it came to the attention of advocates throughout the country. Thurgood Marshall, who we all know, who had been looking for strategizing with the NAACP to find the right case to challenge school desegregation, came out to California and sought permission to fight an amicus brief in the case. While on its face, this was a case, the Méndez case versus Westminster, was a case about segregation based on national origin regarding children of Mexican and Latino descent, everyone really was understanding at that time that it was a case that could impact children of all backgrounds. Earl Warren, who would later become the Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, was governor of California at the time. And when the Ninth Circuit ruled in the family's favor, schools throughout the entire Western region had to integrate. Governor Earl Warren embraced the decision and implemented it in California. The families, some who are represented here on stage with me, quietly went home, maintained their lives, continued living their lives, having accomplished their goal of entering school and having equitable access to education. and providing for their families. These families were not seeking fame or fortune out of this case. They simply wanted their kids, their children, to have the best possible education possible. And really, the case was barely spoken about for decades. Now, 70 years later, we realize that all of the families who had the courage to act in the Méndez versus Westminster litigation are proof that one brave act to correct an injustice in a local community can cause a ripple effect beyond anything imaginable. I want to recognize that just a short time ago, we had Assistant Superintendent Cyndi Paik from the Westminster School District. And Cyndi shared with us today that Westminster, 70 years later now, is a school that's much more integrated, a school district, a school that is offering dual language immersion programs in Spanish and in Vietnamese, a school district that is responding to its community. So that act 70 years ago made a difference in the Westminster community, made a difference in Orange County, made a difference in California, and really made a difference throughout the whole United States. So on behalf of our CABE Board of Directors, it is my true honor to present the CABE Courage to Act Award to the plaintiff families of Méndez versus Westminster, La Familia Estrada, La Familia Guzmán, La Familia Palomino, La Familia Méndez, y La Familia Ramírez.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First, I'd like to say hello to Moreno Valley Unified School District. Thank you for the opportunity in the IE. I'd like to give you a little history of what our parents had to go through at the time. It encompassed 5 families and 4 school districts: the Santa Ana School District, Garden Grove School District, and the El Medina School District, if anybody knows where El Medina is anymore. It's part of the city of Orange. By today's standards, it seems that the matter is easily correctable, but quite the contrary. In my research, I found the signs, like "No dogs or Mexicans allowed," hung on restaurant windows. Single-story theaters were for whites only. 2-story theaters banished Mexicans to the balcony. After the one-day use of the city pool, it was drained, washed, and refilled. We used to call it Mexican Monday. The KKK would hold public rallies at city parks, and yet these parents, along with a Jewish lawyer named David Marcus, supplied by the Mexican consulate, challenged the state's doctrine of legal segregation in the name of equality, and won. The NAACP would virtually use the same argument in Board versus Board of Education 7 years later. A club that my father belonged to, La Sociedad Progresista Mexicana, translated was Progressive Mexican Society, has a long motto, but I'd like to read a little bit of it. Their motto was in education, respect, and patriotism. And it reads, in their handbook, it reads, "Always remember that the hearts of men should not be against each other, but with one another, and all against evil. Seek the moral and intellectual improvement between members, create a barrier protecting our civil rights that guarantees a mutual help in the adverse event of life, inspired by this consideration and respect, which are the base of the fraternity." And on behalf of all of our parents, I would like to thank CABE for recognizing the importance of Méndez et al. Thank you very much.
So on behalf of the CABE Board of Directors, we're pleased to have with us several members of the Ramírez family, and a member of the Méndez family as well, and we'll be presenting plaques to them in name of their family. And we welcome Assistant Superintendent Cyndi Paik from Westminster, representing the growth that we have made over 7 decades to meet the needs of our students. Un aplauso para la familia de Méndez versus Westminster.